In this video, I'm gonna rank the top 11 ad creative strategies used by top DTC brands and ones that we have personally used over $10 million in ad spend in our agency. We're gonna be judging them based on scalability. So if it's high, it can run cold, maintaining low CPMs, gets a good hook rate. Medium is better for warm or mid funnel, and low, it only works with niche targeting. Conversion power, high means it drives sales or high intent clicks. Medium, it builds intent, but is more for nurturing. And if it's low, it just entertains or informs, which is fine, like it could be good for branding. And in production ease, very simply, fast, cheap, repeatable is high. For medium, it has some effort, and for low, it's high cost or complex editing. So the first one is going to be the challenge type of creative. The pros is that they're highly engaging. It builds a curiosity loop, which is like which one will actually win. It educates through contrast. So it shows multiple types of products and you can clearly see which one is better and worse. It works great for food, skincare, supplements, and things that you wear. The cons though is that it's longer production. You need multiple shots, multiple editing, and you have to really coordinate it so that it's engaging. If it's not scripted well, it can be quite weak. Like this one here, the intro is very boring.
In an Italian family, a good sauce is liquid gold.
You're gonna taste test.
Right? Like what? And it can feel a bit biased when people are seeing it and going, well, obviously they're going to favor their own one. So here are some tips for this type of ad creative. The tip number one is that it needs to look authentic. So yes, you're doing a challenge type video, and so you want to make sure yours wins, but you want to say some cons of your product and some pros of another product, so it seems authentic. It has to be entertaining. There's no doubt about it. You want to use contrast, so benefits differences and features differences, rather than just trash talking the product. And you want to add moments of doubt. So in terms of the tier rating, I would say this one is more likely going to be a 2x ROAS club. I don't think it's very scalable. It does take a fair amount of production to do. It's not really code friendly because you're comparing products. So that's more of a solution aware or product aware audience. If you don't know about that, you want to just click that video up here. By the way, if you want every ad example here with the different swipe file links so that you understand how to make them, plus lists of ones that we have done in our agency, then you want to click the first thing below and you can get it all for free. You just give me your email. I think that's a pretty fair deal. The next one is the clout hacking type of ad creative. So this is where you use a common authority figure or celebrity. Now, the pros of this type of creative is that it is scroll stopping. You are borrowing authority. It's good for fast creative production because you can just get a bunch of clips together and put that in the hook. So it's really good for cold traffic if you're trying to bring an audience into your product. The cons of this though are quite high. There is low trust if it's not done well, if you're kind of being a little bit snaky. There are compliance risks. Typically, the conversions are weaker if you don't find a good celebrity. Most people are just kind of sick of celebrity ads, to be honest. And they have quite a short shelf life. I would put clout hacking at a post and pray ranking. Give it a try. If it works, it's great, but you probably will need to pray. If you do want to run it though, you definitely want to make it relevant. So don't just pick a random influencer creator for the sake of it. Make them somebody well-known in a specific industry. The next one is the educational type of ad creative. So this one teaches something new and leans very heavy on educating somebody about a specific problem and then a specific solution. The pros of this type of creative is that it builds trust. It's great for skeptical buyers. So the older demographic, especially in the beauty, the wellness, and the health space. It can position brands as an expert. However, the cons is that you could overly load too much information, and most brands do that. It needs high quality scripting and it's less native. Typically, these educational videos, you can make them a bit native, like this one here.
Scientists discovered this in 1973, but nobody told me that it was a natural way to combat.
Because we're using a native format, but I'd say most people don't. So some tips for this is make it curious, not an info bomb. Try and have some kind of way to excite people about it. Like, do you ever wake up and you feel a certain way about this certain thing? Do you eat very clean, but you're still bloated? Use a breakthrough narrative. So something like, we discovered this, or scientists are talking about this, or women are shopping and changing to this. And also you want to reframe a common belief. Like if you thought that the only way to achieve X was through Y, you are wrong. And then people go, what? I need to know. Now, in terms of our ranking, can really scale these with low CPM, especially if you make them native. Very likely to drive sales because you are convincing people and working with skeptical buyers. So very good for the cold traffic. Though the production, I say it's easy, but it's not fast. You do need a good script. You do need a good creator. So that's the only con. But I would say this one is for sure Zuck approved. This one, Zuck will like this in the account and they will give it spend. The next type of creative is the ugly ad. You probably know this if you're in the DTC space. It's basically a low effort looking type of static or video. The pros of that is a pattern breaker. Everyone's making polished creative or making content, whereas this looks very purposefully not good. So like these post-it notes typically do very well. It feels organic. So it mimics the style of UGC or viral memes. It's stupid simple to make. It's great for retargeting. The cons is that it's actually easy to get wrong. I see so many people trying to do them and you have to really understand the buyer. Like this one here is a great example of a good one where they're having a conversation and it's basically a pet creations art. Like this is great because it's a conversation. It's almost like what those people are probably speaking about on tech. But I've seen people just kind of take this the wrong way and it doesn't look very good. Also, it's not great for premium brands. So if you're a brand that wants to show off that they're premium or luxury, ugly ads really don't work. It kind of disassociates your brand when they get to the website. You want to make sure your ads are coherent with the location they go to. Some tips will be to use a strong copy, not just a strong design. So are you feeding your puppy kibble? Watch this. Or you're too cool to be eating eggs and avocados every day to stay in ketosis. This is the thought about this copy. Use janky visual cues deliberately. So if you can make them something like this, that's even better. And in terms of where it is going to go in the ranking, scalability, I'd say is better for warm/middle funnel. It's quite hard to scale. I haven't seen many brands only scale with just ugly ads. Conversion power is very high. I would say production ease is so easy. So I would actually give this one a Zuck approved. There's a reason there's guys and girls that focus so much on ugly ads. The next type of creative is the listicle. Think 3 reasons why, like BuzzFeed article, but in video form. The pros of this is that it's immediate clarity. It's faster script. It's a proven hook formula. Every brand should have this one. And it's also great for objection handling. You can say 3 reasons why, and you can cover objections as the reasons. The cons is that it can feel quite formulaic. It doesn't really build any emotion. It's just kind of throwing information at you. If you're going to experience ad fatigue, it's going to be from the listicles. Just to give you some tips, I would say spiciest reason first. Make reason number 1 the most important one because that's going to hold the viewer. Make it personal, not generic. Like here's 3 reasons why I did something. And also use variations like 3 lies you've been told, 3 mistakes people make, or 3 signs you need this. Just change it up a little bit. In terms of where it ranks, I would say this is definitely an ad you can scale. Yeah, you probably will get fatigue, but it can run really well for cold. It can get low CPMs, good hook rates with a good script. It converts 1000%. We've tried it many times. It's easy to produce. A UGC creator can do it, a very simple script, even a voiceover. So I would actually put this in the Chad scale category. Let's go, our first Chad scaler. Okay, next is going to be the story ads. So these are basically somebody just talking about a story. Here's an example.
Hey guys, so if you're a bit like me and you spend a lot of time just like aimlessly scrolling,
or
I've just found the best supplement for bloating. So if you're like me and you're looking like this after every meal, then let me introduce you to Welldos.
I worked at Costco for 5 months, so now I'm exposing everything they had from customers.
The pros of these are that it can build deep connection with an audience. It's flexible. You can change the story up. If you want to scale it, you can swap out the hooks and the middle parts and put the important part at the beginning. It's good to position your brand premium because you're telling a story and you can tell that in a setup that's nice. You can tell it on the phone. Easy to retarget. The cons are that it's a slow start. These ones typically linger in the account for a longer time. If you don't have a good script or a good actor, these will tank very quickly. So just some tips for you would be to start mid-drama. Like start in the midst of the drama, use visuals and text cues at the beginning, some kind of caption at the beginning that sells the view, and make it transformative. Don't just have them ramble, have something happen, something change for them. And by the end of it, the person that they start with is not the person that they end with. In terms of our ranking, I would say that scalability is quite low on these story ones because it does depend so much on the person. You can have a very good script, but if it's just like a white person, it won't scale forever. The conversion power can be strong, but I would say it's more for building intent and nurturing or building brand, less than conversions. So this could be like a middle of funnel type of creative. Production is easy, fast, and cheap, so definitely a good one. So I would actually put these in probably like the post and pray. You know, just give it a try, see if it works. And if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, then you haven't wasted a lot of money. The next one is the testimonial. So this is just a customer or an actor talking about the experience, how they love the product, a quote from the product. These are pretty straightforward, easy social proof, easy to produce, great for the bottom of the funnel. This works for pretty much every single industry. The cons is that they are almost immediately cringe. They usually lack structure. People just ramble on about it. It's one person's point of view, so it can feel biased. And most people are very skeptical about testimonials. So just some tips for this would be to stack testimonials, show different people. Picture perfect doesn't really sell, and don't pair it with too much branding. Like this one here, like this one has like a logo and a bunch of stuff. Like don't do that. Just keep it simple. So I would say this is a pretty easy one to just post and pray. Give it your best shot with these ones. Yeah, they can work in the middle of the funnel. Yeah, they're good for retargeting, but more often than not, there's better creative out there. The next one is the founder type of creative. Everyone loves talking about these. They think they are the new type of creative that every brand should run. And to be honest, it is true. This is where the founder steps in, pitches the product, pitches their story, how they come up with the idea, why they decide to change things, and kind of build a bandwagon kind of cult effect, if you like. They are authentic, high trust. They're going to be very unique to your brand and your story. It can make scaling you as the founder much easier than just the brand. People think about Elon Musk for Tesla, think about Alex Ramosi for acquisition. The cons is that most of the founders that do these are very cringe. Most founders are not performers, so that you need to train them. If you're an agency or if you're a brand, you need to learn how to speak on camera. They often lack a lot of structure, so you need to really format these like content rather than saying, hi, my name is Chris, I'm the founder of this. Say, here's a problem that I had, here's why I decided to solve it, here is how I solved it. I would say if you want to make this work for real, you definitely want to lead with tension. So this is a problem that I was having. I saw so many people struggle with this, so we decided to come in, use a unique perspective, and just keep it sharp. Don't linger and talk too much. A lot of people love this type of creative. I think it's good. I don't think it's very scalable though. I don't think it's very good for cold traffic. I think it's great if you already have some proven creative or proven product or a proven offer. So I would actually put this one in probably the 2x ROAS club. It'll work for you. You just have to have other bits in your funnel for it to really work. The next one is the high production ad. Think cinema cameras, think scripting, think multiple teams that came involved, think a huge budget went into this and a team really thought about how cinematic it's going to look. I used to do these a lot. I used to actually do a lot of high production films and ads. The pros of it is that it looks expensive. It looks really polished and high quality. Some people can be wowed by how good a video is. A lot of big brands focus on this type of creative because it builds brand equity. It's good for luxury, automotive, high-end fashion, and some softwares. The cons is that it's not really scroll stopping type of creative. People don't really like to see polished stuff on social media. It almost always feels like a lot of thought went behind it, so it doesn't feel so authentic. It gets very expensive if you want to do multiple angles, multiple hooks, multiple takes, multiple storylines. So it's not very test friendly for Facebook. That being said, here are some tips. One, add a punchy hook text. Make sure there's a text on the screen that sells the video. You want to find a style that is organic, some kind of high production style that is seen as content and people have used before and is proven. And also you want to keep it short. Don't want to create a movie. This isn't like the cinema. Things have changed, mate. So where they will rank, I think they are very hard to scale. They don't really convert. They're more for entertainment and brand building, and they are high cost and complex editing. So I say if you only focus on these type of creatives, you are probably not going to make it. The next one is the classic video sales letter. So the VSL is essentially a scripted long video that goes through a bunch of problems, questions, statistics, and really educates a buyer way before it even mentions the product, similar to the education type of video, but uses a lot of persuasive copy. There are proven formulas of VSLs to print. When I started making ad creatives, I worked for an e-commerce brand. All I did was VSLs, like 3 a day, and it absolutely printed for them. The conversion power of these is absolutely unmatched if you have a very strong hook and you have a good script. This is really good for higher AOV and lifetime value type of products where you need to sell them a lot on the thing. Highly testable. You can always take things out, put things in, extend it, shorten it, chop and change it. The cons is that there is quite a lot of production effort. You need to have a good script and a good editor. It's longer, so it's more risky for people who have short attention spans. That being said, for the demographic of 30 plus, they work really well. It can feel quite salesy as you get towards the end. And there are a lot of black hat tactics that I know about. and it's quite difficult to make a VSL native. So just some tips if you're going to do them anyway is to front load the tension, make the most important part and all the tension at the beginning. Your first 5 seconds should be scroll stopping power. You want to have an insight to the problem, a bold claim, and it really is just for cold traffic. You want to use PBS-PC, which is problem, belief, solution, proof, and a call to action. That's a standard format. Just use that. And you want to break it up a lot using different speakers. But since the VSL has been king for many, many years, high scalability, it's high conversion power, does require some effort. This one's going to have to go in Chad scale. Everybody knows that if you want to scale, VSLs are the way. Our last creative is the us versus them. This is the classic comparison. They're great for shifting a belief. If somebody believes that some kind of food companies are worse than others, then they will create this association of bad, those things, good, your thing. They're really easy to script and easy to plan, and AI can do 90% of the heavy lifting. In fact, we show you how to do these with a very good prompt inside our community ad creators lab. That being said, some cons are that they can feel overly negative and people like to just trash other brands. So it can be a little bit cringe. It can trigger ad disapprovals, and you can probably start debates in the comment, which is not always bad, but if you care a lot about your reputation, then maybe don't do these. That being said, these can convert really extremely well. Some tips for you would be educate why one is better than the other. Don't attack the other one, and keep the visuals very simple. Now, in terms of our ranking, I would say these are more for the warm/middle funnel. They have high conversion power and they're pretty easy and cheap to create. I will put them in the Zuck approved category. This is a box standard one for every single brand. But if you do try to run these ads but don't understand the fundamentals of a good Facebook ad strategy, then you want to watch this video. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your money.